Very little in terms of new information, clarity that the market was clearly hoping for here on the timing of the beginning of tapering. Consensus is still for September. Anything in this that you think perhaps gives a shift to that?
Yeah, I think that you're 100% correct. The consensus is still for a September tapering. However, the more divided the committee appears to be, the more dovish the minutes will ultimately be interpreted as. Because if they can't build consensus internally, it's going to be much harder to deliver the combination of a taper and a rate hike by the end of the year. Pretty confident they get one or the other.
The optionality here, though, surely makes sense. I mean, you point out we've got a debt ceiling debate coming, we've got a budget debate coming. Who knows what happens with healthcare as well? If you combine all those things, then the Fed here leaving the option open surely makes sense. Yeah,
that makes a great deal of sense. And I do think that they've done a masterful job of pricing in a tapering later this year. And so they will want to take advantage of that. So barring any catastrophe in terms of the economic data, I think that they will go through with that in September.
Oftentimes, the Fed minutes are kind of obsolete by the time that they're released 3 weeks after the actual policy decision. But economic data hasn't really changed all that much since the Fed's last meeting, June 13 to 14. So where do you think the Fed falls going forward on this? Are we in a state where the weakness in inflation is transitory, or are we going back to that path where 2% is reachable?
I think that that's the big debate that the market is having right now. I think that that's why you see the 5s, 30s curve flattening the way that it has been. And that's because the market is taking the bet that it's not transitory, whereas the Fed seems to be saying that they're going to push forward with normalization at all costs. And I think that we will get more clarity on that over the next coming months as the data comes in.
As the data rolls in, also in the next couple of days and weeks, we also get a lot of Fed speakers as well. You've got the Fed's monetary policy report due on Friday, and then Janet Yellen, the Fed chair, also holds her semi-annual testimony next week as well. So how do you position for that ahead of those key meetings, those key announcements?
Right now, we're trading the market very technically. There's a positional skew. Everyone is playing for a flattener, and when everyone is on one side of the market, we tend to tactically want to be on the other side. So we'd be looking for a modest steepener in the 5s, 30s before a push back towards this flattening trend as the Fed follows through.